I've now owned the Marzocco Linear Micra for 2 months. I upgraded from a Breville Barista Express, which is the same as the Sage machine in some countries. After having owned that machine for nearly 5 years, I decided that in my home coffee journey, this was the right machine to upgrade to. And in this video here, I want to talk about what I like about this machine, or should I say love, because there are lots of things that I'm going to rave about on this review. I'm going to talk about a few frustrations or things I don't like, and I just basically wanted to make a video of what it is like to live with this machine. I'm going to talk about if the cost is justifiable as a home user. This is a big jump up in budget compared to something like the Barista Express. I'll also go through how easy it is to clean or not, how big the water reservoir is, how long it lasts generally, how the coffee tastes, how easy or difficult it is to steam milk, steam pressure. To give you some context of my background in coffee, I don't have one. I am very much a home user, other than the fact that I love drinking the stuff, and that for the last probably 10 years, I've been on a mission to find my favorite coffee shop, my favorite type of coffee bean, my favorite taste in a coffee, what I'm looking for. I'm still on that journey, very much so. But this is purely a hobby for me, making coffee at home. So what I'm hoping is that some people watching this video may be in the same kind of position, and they just want to know what this thing is like to live with. So the reason I bought this machine, I had owned the Breville Barista Express for around 5 years. I'd really enjoyed honing my technique, my experience, my kind of technical ability of making coffee at home on that machine, and I felt like I'd probably outgrown it slightly. Not going to talk too much about that machine, but it's got a built-in grinder. It's a single boiler machine, meaning you can only pull a shot of espresso or steam milk or use the hot water, one or the other. You can't do both at the same time. So I feel like the limitations of that machine were holding me back slightly, and the time had come to upgrade. What did help was the price. Now, don't get me wrong, very expensive machine. Looking on the Marzocco website right now, the first result on Google that comes up is pay monthly with a 0% APR. That's not a bad deal, actually. Of course, everyone is in different financial situations, but whenever you're buying anything, cost is a factor. There's no hiding from the fact that this is an expensive machine. So the current price in the UK, £3,132. Now, the reason I went for this purchase now is that Marzocco had a Black Friday deal on, and I got this machine for around £2,600. So around kind of £500 off. And I thought, I don't know if I'm gonna see it priced that low ever again. I'm gonna take the plunge and go for it. So to talk through some of the features from this machine from a non kind of technical standpoint, just from someone who wants to make great coffee at home, it is a dual boiler. Both boilers have PID temperature control, which basically means it ensures a consistent brewing temperature, which is important for extracting good coffee. But it basically means I can have everything, if I wanted to, running at the same time. It gets very noisy and messy if you do that. But the purpose of this is you can be pulling your espresso shot and steaming your milk at the same time. The sooner you get the milk into the espresso for making things like flat whites, lattes, cappuccinos, the better. That was a real issue on my last machine. By the time you had steamed the milk, which took quite a while on the Barista Express, your espresso was already kind of going bad. It had been sat around for a couple of minutes, and by the time you got around to adding the milk, it just changed the whole kind of taste and profile of the coffee. So straight away, this upgrade has been incredible. I've made a big mess here turning everything on. The design and the compactness of this machine is excellent. I will say it is quite long. I did have to relocate the coffee setup in the kitchen because where I had it before, it would have been pretty much coming right to the edge of the counter. It's not wide at all. You can see here, it's like a very narrow machine, but it has some length. The actual quality, the design, how heavy the portafilter is and how that feels in your hand, the quality of this rubber and the sturdiness, the way it locks into the group head, the feel of how these twist. The steam wand is a cool to touch steam wand, so you can move this around without burning yourself, and just how smooth this feels is just lovely. Everything about the machine screams quality, screams expensive, screams durable and well built. These are actually handmade machines. So other than looks and feel, you want to know how good the coffee is that this machine can produce. Well, this is going to create coffee that is the same standard as a specialty coffee shop. The components and technology and the way this machine is built, it is basically a smaller version of one of those commercial machines. So you are getting that quality at home in a far more compact package. I think the best way to demonstrate this is just to make some coffee. I just had some new mugs delivered, so what better time? I got these from Love Ceramics. It's their, I think it's their cappuccino sized mug. It's the 200 ml. So for me, that's if I'm having milk, a flat white, You can probably just about call that a flat white, cappuccino maybe. That is the perfect size for me. So let's make a flat white. Let's talk through the coffee making process. If you're considering this machine, but you're on the fence, is it hard to use? It's another point. Everything is manual here. There are no screens. There are no automatic features at all. It doesn't even stop. You have to manually start and stop and weigh your shot. There's nothing automated about the coffee making process, which personally I love because you're in full control. So let's make a flat white, see how the coffee tastes, how it looks, how easy it is to steam the milk, the kind of workflow I go through to make a coffee. Then I'll get onto some of the negative stuff, and then I'll try and answer the question of who this coffee machine is really for, and ultimately, should you buy one? Okay, so firstly, I don't want to get too much into it in this video, but the grinder I chose to be paired with this machine is the Niche Zero for many, many reasons. I may do a whole video on this grinder, but yeah, your grinder choice is of course important. And do remember that not only do you have to account for the space that this will take up on your counter, you also need to remember the grinder is going to take up some space too. So this whole area with this shelving with some of my coffee accessories and stuff, this is my coffee corner. The whole setup does take up a fair bit of room. So we're going to start by grinding some beans, which I keep up here in the Atmos vacuum canister. I've got the MHW3 Bomber coffee scale, around 50 pounds. It can weigh and time at the same time, although I use a slightly different method to time the shot. I'll show you that in a minute. All these accessories, by the way, I will link below, because the workflow that I'm currently using, I'm finding is kind of the best I've ever done while still remaining fairly simple. I'm going to re-vacuum this. You basically get a little green indicator there that you have created another vacuum. This is a step I've just started recently doing. I give my beans a spray or two of water. Oh, why did I do that? Give them a little shake. What this essentially does is keeps the mess off this part of your grinder and all in here, basically. It essentially reduces static, which then just causes a whole mess all over your grinder. So, beans in. These are the beans I'm currently using from Craft House Coffee, local to me. Really good, can never go wrong. Belgian chocolate, red wine, forest fruits. It gives kind of a very rich espresso with loads of flavor, which is right up front in the mouth, if that makes any sense. It's got a very distinctive taste profile. So, grinder on. I'll generally then give this a little wipe with a dry cloth. If it's been in the group head and it's a bit wet, I will then flush some water through the group head, just to clear it out. Then I'm gonna put the portafilter on top, twist it over, give it a little shake, little tap. I then use my WDT tool to kind of just distribute the coffee a little bit further, tidy that up a little bit. I always say it's 10 times harder making coffee when you're also trying to film it. Then I'll use this distributor tool, which I got off Amazon. It's really weighty and heavy. I don't know if that's real wood or not, but it's a lovely thing. And then of course tamp. The machine comes with this rather lovely tamper. It's kind of got a curved bottom, which actually helps you with a more even tamp, which is cool. Then we are ready to extract our coffee. I'm gonna flip back over to this camera, not the iPhone around the neck, because I actually want to use my phone to show you the next step. This coffee machine comes with an app, just called the Marzocco app, but all you have to do is open the app, do nothing else, and watch what happens when I start to pull the shot. Espresso cup under, reset my scale. I'm gonna show you that and pull this at the same time. It starts the timer, and all of your brew times save within the app as well. So very, very handy. So we've got the coffee pouring now, shot timer going, and here I'm aiming for about 36 grams of coffee in around 30 seconds. So I'm gonna stop it there. I'm someone who never worries too much about the exact numbers. I way prefer to go on taste, but I have dialed this coffee in already. And I've just done something that I said was the main feature of this machine, which for the purpose of filming the video is too difficult to do, but I should already have my milk steamed. But let me show you the milk steaming separately. Hopefully we'll get away with it. You're not drinking the coffee, so it doesn't really matter to you. So I'm gonna go back over here, give the steam on a little purge. Obviously milk choice is a personal thing. I'm using organic whole milk. Now I have to say one of my favorite things about this whole machine, this whole experience, is this steam wand. You can always touch it, move it around, and just the power that this produces is just unbelievable. You get that swirl pretty much instantly. It's very easy to use and it doesn't take long at all. That is getting hot already. I'm gonna stop it there. Quick wipe with a cloth and final purge so we don't get any milk building up on our steam wand. Now have a look at this. I would say the milk looks very nice there. So I'm gonna grab our espresso, give it a little swirl and a tap, and try and pour something here. As you can see, we've got really good milk texture here. First time pouring into this cup, I think I've spilt a little bit on the floor, but for a first go, and I've just, because I'm trying to film, I've just poured it on the side. But that was looking, you saw, that was looking pretty nice. Now you see, if that was TV, they'd have to reshoot all that and have to do it all again, but this is YouTube. This is the beauty of YouTube. I've got my coffee. Most importantly, let's see how it tastes. Wow, I could not, in my town here, I genuinely, no disrespect to any cafes, I don't think I could get a better cup of coffee going out of the house. That is perfect. Oh, just delicious, just so good. So that was kind of showing you my workflow with this machine. Now I'm gonna mention some things that I can't even bring myself to say don't like or that are bad, because overall I'm in love with this machine. I can't see myself buying another coffee machine ever unless La Marzocco brings something else out, or in the future I have loads of money to play with and I want to try something from another brand, or it breaks and I'm forced to, which I'm hoping is not going to be the case. But I'm going to mention one or two things. The first thing is the gap here between the drip tray and the portafilter is fairly small, especially because you need to use a scale with this machine. Otherwise you are just kind of guessing how much espresso that you're pulling. So once the scale's there, I'm not gonna get a tape measure out and measure it, although I bet someone has. I'm gonna use my fingers and show you. It's that. That is all you have to put a cup underneath. So actually, let me see if I can get my new, yes, okay, great. So I would be able to get my new 200ml mug underneath. But something like this, which I often like to pour my coffee in, which is my keep cup. If I'm, leaving the house, I want to make a quick flat white to take in the car. There's absolutely no way with the scale, without I could, but with the scale, no, there's just no way something like that is getting under there. Whether you see that as a problem or not, you say, no, it's a proper espresso machine. You should be using the small espresso cups. Yes, but also this is aimed at home users. Home users are going to be having all sorts of random cups in their cupboard that they're probably going to want to have coffee in, but it's very good to know these mugs do fit. So that's one thing. That problem is solved on the Linea Mini, which is the bigger and more expensive version of this machine, has a few more features. The other thing is the water reservoir. I find myself filling this machine up way more than I was expecting to. It's not an issue. What I need to do is get in the habit of doing it either before I go to bed at night, just topping it up, whatever level it's at, or first thing in the morning. I just need to get into that habit. Currently, I'm not in that habit. I kind of wait for it to run out. Frustratingly, the machine doesn't seem to heat up as well if there's no water in it. So sometimes I'll turn the machine on, go off, wait for the machine to heat up, come back, oh, there's no water, have to wait a little bit longer. You can, of course, have this machine plumbed into your water supply, which would actually be epic and awesome. I think you need to get a La Marzocco technician to come out and do it, but that, of course, would solve that problem. And you know what, other than that, I've had this machine for 2 months. I cannot think of anything else. The Mini also has a shot timer built in here, saves you getting your phone out and using the app or looking on your scale. That's quite a cool feature on the Mini, but again, that higher price tag. For me, I just can't stop talking about things that I love about this machine. This tray up the top is, you can't hold your hand on that for more than half a second. That is really hot. So your mugs are genuinely going to warm up on there. The pressure gauges here are really nice to look at. I've never seen it change from that 9 bars of pressure when you are pulling espresso shots. The way it looks, the way it feels. The drip tray itself, where old water and stuff is purged into, is huge. I very rarely have to empty that. But if I do, it's really easy. You just pull it out, tip it in the sink, give it a quick clean, put it back in. The cleaning and maintenance of this machine, again, very, very easy. You just take this blank basket that is provided with the machine and then run your own back and forth cycle. I think it's 5 seconds on, 10 seconds off, with some of the espresso machine cleaner that comes with the machine, and that is the back flush process. Very easy, very simple. Another thing I really like, and I wasn't so sure about it at first, this is still dripping all over the floor, is this portafilter. They basically give you this plastic clip-in section. Then firstly, you have a bottomless portafilter straight away, which is rather cool. But essentially this design means that you can flip between a double spout attachment and the single spout attachment that comes with the machine very easily. I was worried kind of about the quality of that being plastic. So far, so good. It does seem very solid, very durable, and I can see the convenience of having that there. So ultimately, if you are someone who wants to up their coffee game to the next level, potentially one of the highest levels you can get to in terms of a home espresso setup, then yeah, this machine is for you. You're not going to be disappointed. If you're someone who's maybe more new to making coffee at home, especially espresso, and you don't want to take the plunge in terms of cost and price and all the extra things you have to buy around it, obviously you have to buy a grinder, then maybe start with something like the Barista Express. I've got several videos on that machine, go and check those out. But I think this coffee machine, if you're okay with making espresso in a very manual way, and you see making coffee as a hobby rather than a necessity or something that you just do, then yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this machine. I can't see why someone would not like it. It looks great, it feels great, the quality is incredible. The results from the machine in terms of the coffee it produces are industry standard. And yeah, in my opinion, there's a lot to love, not a lot to not like. And I can't imagine someone being unhappy with this machine. So thank you so much for watching. This was my review of the Marzocco Linea Micra, my coffee process, what it's like to live with, what I like about it, what I rave about, some things that are very slight frustrations, but in the whole overall ownership process are very get overable. I really had to think these up for the purpose of this video, because genuinely day to day I do not think about those things. Any questions, leave them in a comment. I will try and get back to you. I'm going to leave links to the accessories and things that I showed. If there's anything I've missed out, because I don't plan or script these videos at all, I should maybe do that. I'll just hit record and talk about it. So yeah, leave me a comment, say hi, ask any questions you like, and I'll jump in the comments and reply. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next More George very, very soon. Goodbye.